In many reviews of books on power, such as Robert Greene's works, we often find perspectives shaped by a fundamental misunderstanding of strategic intelligence. Critics tend to oversimplify the subject or express concern over potentially harmful interpretations. But what they don't understand is that they are taking for granted a knowledge many people never developed. In this sense, they are privileged. They never needed to develop strategic intelligence as a means of navigating adversity. When they read the 48 Laws of Power, they are afraid. They feel discomfort, because they never needed to learn this aspect of human nature, so they react with strong aversion. They reduce to the moral implications, while ignoring the intention of the book and exposing a complex dynamic present in social relationships. Confusion is what they feel. Their comprehension is limited by the absence of power dynamic obstacles in their own experience. Without this condition, reducing the subject to moral implications becomes inevitable. The problem becomes a wall they build against a dark but real aspect of human relationships. It's not that they are outside the power game. Everyone is playing it. The difference is that they refuse to admit it. And that doesn't make them moral. It makes them vulnerable. When someone dismisses the study of power as immoral, what they're doing is imagining they exist outside those dynamics, as if being disinterested in strategy makes them immune to it. That's like saying if you don't study propaganda, you can't be influenced by it. Power isn't ethical or unethical. It's structural. It doesn't wait for your consent to shape your outcomes. These reviews are like a rich kid mocking survival tactics from the poor. People assume everyone engages in the social game in good faith, so they label these strategies as corruption. But that's an illusion sustained by the safe structures they live in. If the world were fair, everyone would play fair. In prisons, refugee camps, or corrupt bureaucracies, you don't survive by being morally pure. You survive by reading intention, feigning ignorance, and trading ambiguity for safety. Their intelligence is not measured by academic success, but by your ability to detect invisible danger before it strikes. In unstable environments, strategic thinking isn't optional. Take Akiyama Shinichi from Liar Game. His life changed after his mother committed suicide following a scam. That event didn't just hurt him, it defined his objective: destroy the organization responsible. To do that, he entered a world of manipulation and psychological warfare and developed the strategic intelligence needed to navigate it, which proved relevant when he was dragged into the Liar Game. Or consider Akagi Shigeru. With no family or support system, he was thrown into chaos early and often. He didn't have the luxury of wishful thinking or depending on fragile beliefs like the law of attraction. His environment forced him to see the world clearly and act without illusion. He knows reality is constantly outside his comfort zone, and he is not afraid. Strategic intelligence doesn't emerge from comfort. It's an adaptation to asymmetrical conditions, where one side holds the rules and the other fights just to stay in the game. When reducing this subject as not moral or cruel, it is because it speaks to a reality they never had to operate in. Those who haven't faced asymmetric risk often grow up power-phobic. They romanticize transparency, overvalue sincerity, and assume that intention and outcome are always aligned. Power-literate individuals learn quickly that reality punishes honesty when it lacks leverage. They don't lie for gain, they lie for protection. Their intelligence isn't predatory, it's precautionary. This kind of thinking is often found among marginalized groups. Unlike formal education, it is not learned in classrooms but forged through necessity, through survival in unstable social terrain. In The Cultural Roots of Strategic Intelligence, Gino LaPaglia explains that what is often labeled in the West as cunning or manipulation was, in many oppressed cultures, a normalized and respected form of knowledge. The dominant culture paints these tactics as inherently negative or dishonest, a narrative strategy designed to delegitimize the few tools available to resist hegemony. LaPaglia recounts that in several indigenous and colonized societies, strategic misdirection and coded communication were cultivated forms of resistance. Stories weren't just entertainment, they were encrypted tools for teaching how to read power. In Western culture, clarity is praised, but in cultures under surveillance, clarity gets you killed. Understanding how to speak without being heard or act without being seen was how the oppressed survived. These books only become insightful when read through the lens of necessity. Closing your mind to this reality, pretending it does not exist, only increases your vulnerability. Perhaps your life has been too soft and your senses have grown dull. These texts aren't meant to be copied. They are meant to be interpreted. And if your only takeaway is manipulate people, you've revealed more about your strategic poverty than the book ever could. The 48 Laws of Power is not about manipulation for its own sake. It's not a guide to cruelty or selfishness as a means to climb the social ladder. The art of seduction is not a manual for preying on the emotionally vulnerable or for performing superficial tricks to seduce. These works are often misunderstood. Many read them superficially, recoiling from the ambiguity and instability they reveal about reality. In doing so, they miss the subtle, relevant truths hidden within. These books are about literacy in invisible rules, an understanding of structures designed to benefit the powerful, and insight into how to gain advantage when you are not in a dominant position. They teach you to look past what someone says and study what they cannot say. It's the skill of understanding invisible rules before you're destroyed by them. Strategic intelligence is not about clever quotes, chessboard aesthetics, cold showers, nofap, or getting revenge on those who once ignored you. Don't treat it as a vibe or aesthetics. Strategic intelligence is the ability to operate, adapt, and thrive in environments stacked against you, disadvantageous, unstable, and unfair. Accepting this is the first step toward developing real strategic intelligence. If you keep reading books to feel comfort, to escape instability rather than adapt to it, you're not growing, you're retreating. The comfortable assumption is that fairness is the default and that strategy is only needed when something goes wrong. This is backwards. Fairness is the exception. If your default assumption is that society is stable and cooperative, your behavior will collapse the moment it's not. This is why the privileged fear these books. They remind them of how fragile their assumptions are. Reality rewards those who can operate in fog, who don't need perfect knowledge to make efficient moves. Strategic intelligence isn't built in safe conditions. It's forged in risk and sharpened in ambiguity. If your instinct is to wait until you feel comfortable, safer, until the rules are fair, you're already losing. Discomfort is not a signal to stop thinking, it's a sign you're finally close to something real. Don't chase easy answers or shortcuts. The world won't slow down because of your confusion.